Hi, Father Craig from St. Peter's by the Sea in Narragansett, Rhode Island. In this video clip, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about journeying with God. What I have found is that when we journey with God, we can't compare ourselves to others. God has given each of us gifts and talents which make us unique. And God has also called us to be with Him in many different ways. After all, let's be clear. God is undefinable. And the aspects of God that I see and understand may not be the same aspects that you see and you understand. And so as we journey with God, what we find is each and every one of us go along our own pathway. But the one thing that I have found that is always true is that no matter whose journey it is, God never leads us in a straight course. I often describe journeying with God like driving up the side of a mountain, especially a very steep one. You can't drive straight up the mountain because the car would kind of fall over backwards. So what we do instead is we kind of crisscross the mountain and go up in a serpentine pattern in order to get up to the top. And that is very much what it's like to journey with God. It's not a straight course. And God isn't concerned with us in terms of destination or achieving certain levels. God is more concerned with our journey and our openness to the experience. In St. Luke's Gospel, on the afternoon of the resurrection, Cleopas and his companion choose to leave Jerusalem and journey to Emmaus, a 7-mile distance. And along the way, they encounter the risen Christ. What's fascinating about the story is that they don't recognize Jesus and don't realize that as they speak with this person, to them at that point a stranger, they share the story of the crucifixion and the story of the women finding the empty tomb. But nowhere in their conversation do they ever expect or are open to the possibility that they too might encounter the risen Christ. Luke offers us great symbolism in this story. Their backs are turned from Jerusalem, and they're walking towards a new place. They walk away from the death of Jesus. They walk towards resurrected life. But they don't encounter or realize that they are encountering the risen Christ until they are ready and open to the possibility of being in the presence of the post-death Jesus. I think that's the same for each and every one of us. We find at different points in our journey with God that we struggle, that we just can't make the next step. Often that times we find ourselves at these obstacles not because there's something wrong with us, especially as we hear other people who've made it through, or that we're not spiritual enough. It just means we're just not quite ready to move to the next step. And where we find obstacles in our faith, others find obstacles where we don't find them. But what I've always found the key to journeying with God is perseverance and a heart open to God revealing to us those things that we've never thought of, hoped for, or imagined. Journeying with God is always filled with surprises, but only when we're ready.